What multiple of, I know we can't actually reveal the revenue you were at the time. So you totally respect that. At the same time, I'd love to know, as you started this process and identified a dozen or so companies to go to, had you started to formulate, you and Facundo and Peter, a sense of what multiple of revenue you might garner in the marketplace? And what were you guys thinking in your heads?
Well, so the advantage of a strategic, it's also the disadvantage of a strategic, is the numbers are very fluffy. Because
very what?
Fluffy. Because
fluffy.
Yeah. So like if we go to a PE firm's going to go growth rate, customer size, put it through a spreadsheet. This is the multiple we can give you. There's a little bit of a range, right? And I think the thing that we didn't realize, which was both problematic but also kind of good, was we had this free customer base, which is hard to value. We have actual pure SaaS revenue, so 95% margin revenue. And then we still had that services arm, which was like 50% revenue, 55% revenue at close. And so we're sitting there and it's like, it's hard to analyze that business, right? And so it became one of these things where we kind of just played the negotiation game, frankly. Like, hey, like we're talking 9 figures, right? Okay, here's what we're thinking. Hey, there's this, here's this, that. And then kind of the climax of this was I straight up told Christian, and we did a documentary on this, and so it's just public. I straight up said like, hey, if you can get to 200 million, like we have offers that are higher and we have offers that are probably valued at higher because of their stock. But if you get there, all the other checkboxes that weren't the numbers, like the roles that we were going to have, what the team is going to have, the mission, the upside, all these other things, those were really, really like all checked. But if you can get to that number, the expected value of the whole thing shakes out, right? And it ended up being not exactly 200 million. And so, but it was one of those things where he was like, okay, like he didn't say it just like that, but he like went back, got it, that type of thing. And then, you know, we definitely like let the other folks know. And we were going to stay true to our word that I gave Christian, but then we did have someone try to come back and like up their offer and stuff like that. And so it was more of a game of like pitting folks against each other than it was like this multiple, right? Because we did have conversations where they would try to give us multiples on different things, and we would go, you're not valuing the free customer base. And they'd be like, well, blah, blah, blah. And we're like, well, this other company's valuing the free customer base. Like, and it kind of got into more of a negotiation and sales process than it did like a financial process, if that makes sense.
Thanks for watching today's video. To grab your free copy of John Warrillow's best-selling book, Built to Sell, head over to 𝑏uilttosell.com. John's book, Built to Sell, has been endorsed by well-known entrepreneurs like Tim Ferriss, Patrick Bet-David, Dan Lok, amongst many others. But don't just hear it from me. Hear it from them.
The most well-known book is Built to Sell. That would be the mega best-selling book. Built to Sell gave me the steps, like exactly what to do, right?
One of them being a book I read in 2012 titled Built to Sell that I've recommended to any entrepreneur out there.
There's a good book actually that people can read, which gives them pretty much the gist in the title, and that is Built to Sell.
This book talks about how to get your life back once your business takes over, how to focus on doing what you're supposed to be doing well, and how to build a scalable business that can be sold. Building a business that can be sold is much different than building a profitable business that relies on you and you are the bottleneck inside your entire company.